In this video, we're going to replace the upper transmission mount on this Honda Element. These are the tools that you're going to need to change the transmission mount. I never go into an engine compartment without a telescopic magnet to retrieve any nuts, bolts, or screws that I've dropped. I have a 1/2 inch drive ratchet, a 3/8 inch drive ratchet, and some rather long extensions, 17 millimeter deep socket, and a 17 millimeter shallow socket, a 10 millimeter deep socket, this is to take the battery out, a flat blade screwdriver, this is for the fuse box, a pry bar of some sort so you can align the holes when you're putting the new transmission mount in. It makes the job go a lot faster if you have an impact and a lot easier. I'd recommend getting one. This one was cheap. It was like $18 at Home Depot. Doesn't need to be fancy. The upper transmission mount is located on the driver's side of the engine and it's down in there. If you take a flashlight and shine it down in here, you can see the condition of the transmission mount and then determine if you need to replace it or not. To replace the transmission mount, we need to start by removing the battery. We'll use a 10 millimeter socket to remove the ground on the battery first, and then take off the positive, and then remove the battery tie down. With the battery out of there, you can now see the transmission mount a little more clearly, and you can see that ours is in pretty rough shape. To give ourselves a little more wiggle room, I'm going to take off this portion of the air box as well. I'm also going to move the fuse box out of the way to give ourselves some more room. Now that we've cleared the area to start attacking the transmission mount, I'm going to support the transmission with a floor jack from underneath. We need to remove the 6 nuts and screws that hold it on. They are all 17 millimeter. Now we have the transmission mount out, so we need to separate it from its mounting bracket. The new transmission mount is going to come with little rubber ears. You want to make sure that when you put it on the bracket, it looks like that. It lines up. There's little notches that'll help you align it properly, but that's what it's supposed to look like. Put the screw in and start it with your fingers. Get it somewhat snug. Actually, not snug at all. There you go. You want a little bit of play because when you put it in, you want to be able to work it around to get the screw holes lined up. Now we'll put the new mount in place. And we'll start all of the bolts, but we'll just do finger tight because we do not want to tighten them up until we have them all started. Once you have all the screws and nuts started, you can go through and start tightening them down. I always finish up with the ratchet. I don't ever use the impact gun to finish up screws, especially this critical, because if you strip one of these guys out, it's going to be a pain to fix it. Now that we have the 6 nuts and screws tightened down, we need to tighten up that through bolt that we left loose when we were aligning everything. We have that bolt tight. We'll put everything back together, put it back in place, battery back in, start the car up, make sure it runs, and make sure that we didn't knock any vacuum hoses off or loosen up any electrical connections. Here's our old transmission mount. It is trashed. We were getting clunking and vibrations in the engine compartment. Those are all gone now. If you have an impact gun, it makes the job go a lot faster and easier. If you don't, that's okay. Just use a ratchet. You'll be all right. Thanks for watching. I hope you found the video useful and hopefully it gives you a little insight on how to replace that transmission mount. Good luck.